We are getting hit with an eclipse this week, which means the is going to hit the fan. Hi, my name is Haley Comet. This is Magic Monday, your weekly astrological forecast covering what is happening in the sky every week and how it is that you will feel these celestial happenings weaved within your life down here on planet Earth. And furthermore, we call it Magic Monday because when you not only understand these cosmic occurrences, but actively work with them, grabbing hold of opportunities, steering clear of challenges, you turn your life into something with flow, something with alignment, something with magic. So that's why I'm here every single week in my cosmic corner of the internet with a cosmic beverage in hand to break down what it is that you can expect in the week ahead. And this week we're unpacking the astrological happenings from March 10th to March 16th, 2025. Which, spoiler alert, there's a lot to unpack here. There is a lot to unpack here, so let's get into it. So firstly, we are getting hit with the first eclipse of eclipse season. Now, it's important to know that the energy and the significance of eclipses is not limited to the exact date and time that it exacts. So technically, the Virgo Lunar Eclipse lands on Thursday night, Friday morning for many parts of the globe, but its story is not neatly limited to March 13th, 11:55 p.m. PDT. Oh, no. This is a story that continues to ricochet out and reverberate out. And it's also a story that you, even if you're listening at the beginning of the week, you might be feeling this build. It could feel like a little bit of a planetary pressure cooker, okay? That's how eclipses feel. It could feel more emotional. You know, we are in Pisces season, and a lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. And when we consider that this lunar eclipse is in Virgo, a sign that is concerned with details and the small elements of life, it could be something very little that sets you off. You could just be feeling a little bit more energetically fraught and intense, and then something just sets you off, right? It just takes that one spill. It just takes opening the fridge and seeing that that one ingredient that you were looking forward to in the snack that you're going to make isn't there. It could be that one person who doesn't let you merge your car over into their lane that causes you to have a meltdown. You know, we're in prime meltdown territory, especially when we consider that the ruler of this lunar eclipse in Virgo is Mercury in Aries. So the energy of Virgo is getting stressed out by these small things not going right, and the energy of the ruler being in Aries makes us want to stomp our feet about it and slam a door about it. And the full moon opposes Saturn, and it's on the south node. It's not the most pleasant eclipse. During eclipses, it's like fated new beginnings and fated endings, but things could just be feeling quite frustrating. Life could be feeling extraordinarily lifey. Life is a lot, let's all admit it. And this Virgo lunar eclipse opposing Saturn could just make you feel like, really? I had the day at work that I had, and then this person doesn't let me merge? Or like, really? I'm dealing with this issue with my sibling, and then I open my fridge and there's not the one ingredient that I needed to make my veggie dip? Like, these small things, it's not about the small thing. It's like the final straw, right? Layered upon layers. It's not about the veggie dip. It's not about the person who's not letting you merge. There could just be a lot of frustrations and inconveniences and even worry or anxiety, fear of the future, just stacked and stacked and stacked. And there could be moments where you do feel quite overwhelmed this week. There could be things that are going wrong. There could be some delays. There could be some snafus because the ruler of the lunar eclipse is Mercury, who the day after the lunar eclipse, again, the eclipse intensity will still be hanging in the air, but the following day, Mercury stations retrograde. And it's so funny because in astrology, Mercury governs siblings, and Mercury is really giving little sibling energy. Like, I'm not kidding, because Venus has been retrograde in Aries, and then Mercury's like, wait, no, wait for me. And like, Mercury is now covering nearly the exact portion of the sky that Venus retrograde is covering. It couldn't let Venus retrograde have its fun. It's like, no, wait for me. I want to be like you. I want to do what you're doing. So Mercury was having FOMO that Venus is retrograde. So it decides to essentially halt in its tracks this Friday and begin a review of its own. Now, we can make this magic. I know this seems like a little bit of a headache astrologically speaking, but there is a way to work with this energy. We do have a nice alignment of Mercury and Venus earlier in the week. We have Sun aligning with Saturn, sextiling Uranus. So maybe there are certain acknowledgements that are coming to the surface. And again, it's just important to view everything around eclipse season as it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And that's a muscle to work, right? And you know, with this much Saturn energy alive in the cosmos, it's not easy. It's not easy. It is a week that asks us to work the muscle of gratitude, work the muscle of compassion, work the muscle of trust, work the muscle of patience. It may not come easily. It may on a surface level just feel like everything is annoying and infuriating and getting under your skin. And there might be a need this week to work the muscle around, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful, with gritted teeth and clenched fists, or I'm being patient, I'm allowing the cycles of my life to play out in their own due time while doing so with crossed arms and like a attitude, right? I'm going to exercise compassion and restraint in this situation. I'm going to hold myself back, even though every part of me with Mercury and Venus in Aries wants to react right away. Like, these are the muscles to work this week. And to know that if you look at this week, just this particular slice of time, this particular slice of life, it might feel like a bit of a headache. I won't lie to you, but the overall cake of life is quite delicious and quite delightful. So do not forget that. So as always, we will dive into everything you need to know about this week's astrology, because believe it or not, my loves, we have hardly scratched the surface. We have hardly dug into the slice of cake that is this week's cosmos. So as always, we'll break it down within a thematic as well as a day-by-day analysis. But before we do, take a step inside my cosmic cafe. And my loves, I call this Magic Monday, yet I have never done a magic trick. And that changes today, because today in the Cosmic Cafe, I am going to perform a magic trick. So today we have this lovely cup of butterfly pea tea, and watch and see magic before your eyes. Just with an ordinary lemon. What could an ordinary lemon do to this cup of butterfly pea tea? Oh no. I hope you could see it. Okay, it's now purple. I don't know if you could even see that. I can't. Maybe I shouldn't do magic tricks in the Cosmic Cafe. Please don't throw any tomatoes at me. My sensitive Pisces heart can't take it, truly. But essentially with butterfly pea flower tea is what it's called. It's blue. It's this really beautiful, vibrant color of blue, but once you introduce citrus into it, it turns purple. So it's a fun little party trick. You can also freeze the butterfly pea flower tea into ice cubes, and then as it melts, it turns the drink into this like really lovely blue purple situation. We did it at my birthday party last year. I just thought it would be the perfect mystical, magical drink to serve in the Cosmic Cafe today, but I don't know. I think I'm going to keep my day job as an astrologer. I don't know if being a magician is quite in the cards for me. And I'm telling you, there may be something this week that just upsets you that's so minor. Again, with the energy of Virgo, this can be like wanting to tear our hair out at very, very minor, small things going wrong, not going in according to plan. Because I'm telling you, the emotion that coursed through my body as I saw that the viewfinder didn't quite capture the magic that I was taking in on my side is I honestly wanted to cry. I honestly wanted to cry, which I know feels so dramatic, but it's like, it's not just about the butterfly pea flower tea, right? Like, and with any other meltdown or anything else that gets under your skin, it's important to have grace with yourself around it's not just this, because sometimes you can feel ridiculous for having such an emotional reaction to the veggie dip or to the person who wouldn't let you merge. And sometimes it's just helpful to just validate yourself around, okay, there's deeper layers here. It's eclipse season, which tends to be a time that we are a little bit more frazzled and frantic and feeling things more intensely. And this might have been what set me off or what caused the tears to flow, but it definitely is not the sole contributing factor. Because to be completely real with you, the day that I'm filming this has not been my day. Not been my day. I'm not feeling it. I'm not vibing off the beat. The vibe is off. The vibe is off. I feel like I have like a dark gray cloud above my head. Is the vibe. And I was like, girl, your vibe is rancid right now. Your aura is rancid. Do not go on youtube.com with this energy. So I had to give myself a talking to. I was like, Haley, gotta get it together. Like you're fine. Like, girl, snap out of it. So I was like, okay, let me do something fun that'll get me into the vibe. And so I came up with that little color trick and I fell flat. You know, there's a certain kind of really to the universe when you're like trying so hard to be positive and grateful and all of this, and then you just feel like it flops. It's like, really? Come on, I was trying. Universe, I was trying. But I will say, even just like sitting here talking to you guys, I can slowly feel my rancid aura going away, my rancid vibe going away. It's all good. Like in the broader scheme of things, it's all good. We are being asked to work the muscle. And honestly, I don't mind the taste of it. So it's all good. So enough about me. Let's go ahead and get into the vibe check of the week. So my loves, if you are new to Magic Monday, vibe check of the week is a segment in which we compare all of the astrological happenings this week, from Mercury conjoining Venus in Aries, Sun conjoining Saturn, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the south node, Mercury retrograde beginning in Aries. We put all of those ingredients into the cosmic cake of this week, and I let you know what it tastes like, right? If you take all of these astrological components and what they taste like or what they feel like or how they manifest here on planet Earth, here's the situation that you would get if you put all of the ingredients into a mixer and mixed it up and baked for 40 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, so the hypothetical situation that feels like the culmination of all of these astrological events, it feels like making the decision to bring something up within your relationship. And it's bringing something up that you know is not going to be a pleasant conversation. In fact, it may very well start a fight, right? You know, we've got 2 planets in Aries, so some of us could be ready to fight the person who wouldn't let us merge, or fight whoever didn't get us veggie dip, right? Fight my camera for not adequately capturing the color changing. I'm gonna laugh so much if it actually did capture it and I'm just over here crashing out for no reason at all, but nevertheless, we will say, just to give this vibe check more nuance, we will say that you are simply over it. You're fed up with how much of the domestic labor that you do around the home. You feel like you are the one who's constantly picking up after your partner, and your partner is always in a rush, always rushing off to this place and rushing off to that place. And whenever you say, hey, you left your socks on the ground here, you left this dish out, they're like, oh, well, I was in a rush. You know, I had to get to this, I had to get to this. And again, they're making like their poor lack of planning now your responsibility, because you don't want to live in a world where there's socks on the ground. You don't want to live in a world where someone's half-eaten nacho plate is on the couch. Like, that's not the world that you want to live in. And you know, bringing this up is going to start a fight, because it typically does. But you know, you've really been contemplating this. I think a lot of us with Venus retrograde are contemplating our relationships, you know, contemplating what it is that we value within a relationship, how it is that we want to feel desired within a relationship. Like, these are themes that are coming up at this time. And it's interesting because Venus is backwards, Mercury in the first portion of the week is forward, or rather direct, and they meet up. Right? Mercury will follow Venus, like the little sibling it is, a little later on in the week. But with Venus retrograde, it's like an internal review, and Mercury's direct. So it's very much that energy around, I've been contemplating our relationship and here's what I need. And I need to be direct with the energy of Aries. I need to be honest. I need to be forthright. Maybe it will, you know, start a little bit of a fight, but I can't do this anymore. I can't do socks on the ground. I can't do half-eaten nachos on the couch. This is not the world I want. And it's uncomfortable to face these sort of things. You know, the Sun, Saturn, and Pisces is sort of that around. You've been trying to just stay in your happy little daydream around, it's all good and our relationship is doing good. And don't get me wrong, within the vibe check, this is not a breakup. This is not, you know, the end of the road, but it is an end to the cycle. It's like you really having this ultimatum around, listen, it's me or the socks on the ground and the half-eaten nachos on the couch, because I cannot do both. I cannot do both anymore. I cannot run around picking up after you because you're always running late or you're doing too much and I have to shoulder your burden. Like, we need to put an end to this cycle, Because that's what I want to be so clear on. This full moon in Virgo on the South Node, it does speak to an ending. Maybe for some people that is a relationship. Again, Venus is retrograde, so a lot of people are contemplating it, processing it. Some people are reconnecting with people from the past. Be safe out there. Okay, is all I'm going to say on that. But this Virgo lunar eclipse, it doesn't necessarily feel relationship oriented to me. It just feels like a certain problem needs to be addressed that we need to put an end to. And it might be easier just living this happy little daydream around, oh yeah, it's all good and our relationship is good. But you're like, no, I'm suffering. This is not it, because maybe that was just something that set you off, you know, seeing the socks on the floor and seeing the half-eaten nachos. It's like, you're stressed, you have a lot going on, and it's not just about the socks on the ground and the half-eaten nachos on the couch. It's you not feeling validated. It's you not feeling valued. It's you not feeling seen. Because it's all about this person's rush and that they're going to the next thing, but in turn they're putting more pressure on you and making you late for your responsibilities because you were too busy putting the socks away and cleaning off the nachos. So you're not feeling seen. And the energy of Aries, maybe some individuals are wanting to advocate for themselves and saying, hey, we need to end this era of me doing the most for you, running around being your house cleaner. I'm not your house cleaner, I'm your partner. You know, I think with South Node Virgo, a lot of individuals are feeling called at this time to see if there's another way. You know, with Virgo energy, maybe you've had seasons of your relationship where you're like, well, I'll just, you know, do more. We'll get more organized. We'll have a chore wheel. I'll tell them that they need to do these things, adding more pressure and more burden on my plate. But there's just an acknowledgement within this conversation. Again, the internal reflections you're now voicing with Mercury, Venus around something needs to change here. And the answer isn't me going out of my way to add a chore wheel or tell you what to do. It's like literally this is something, a habit that you need to stop. You need to stop overscheduling yourself so you're always running late and you're making your messes my responsibility. Like something has got to end here. It doesn't need to be our relationship, but it's got to be this cycle because I'm doing too much. I think a lot of people with South Node Virgo are like, I am doing too much. And maybe part of this is around you're taking on this person's responsibility. You know, something that's important right now with South Node Virgo is really knowing you cannot do other people's push-ups for them, truly. Other people's messes are theirs to clean up. That being said, you want to live in a clean house. I don't blame you whatsoever. You can absolutely, you know, have your foot in the sand around how it is that you want to live and how it is that you want to be treated and things like that. But you cannot go above and beyond to try to force someone else to be better or to do their work or to learn their lessons. Like at the end of the day, people's lessons, people's spiritual path, people's growth, like that is on them. So you can vocalize, this is what I need. This is a chapter that needs to be closed, but you have to kind of hang back and see if they step up to the plate. Because at the end of the day, they need to put in the work. And maybe this isn't showing up within a partner that you live with. Maybe this is showing up within a friend. Maybe this person is constantly coming to you for advice that they never integrate, that they never utilize. And maybe this is you taking a step back, like saying how it is that you feel perhaps, but recognizing these are your lessons to straighten out. Like, not my circus, not my monkeys is kind of the vibe with this Virgo lunar eclipse. Maybe for you, this is coming up at work. Someone comes to you and they're all rushed and frantic, like, oh my gosh, I'm late on this proposal. Will you help me out? Wanting you to put to the side everything that you need to do today in order to accommodate this person's lack of planning. And there could be an energy around this Virgo lunar eclipse around, no, this is not on me. This is not on me. There could be something like that coming up. And like I said, there's vibes of this eclipse where we could be feeling a little fed up. The ruler is Mercury in Aries. You know, we could be feeling a little fed up, a little frustrated. You know, Aries governs the head. And whenever I tap into this energy, I just feel like a headache, literally. Like there could just be things that are a headache, issues and problems that are on us that are a headache. And it feels that not all of these issues and problems are ours to take on. We could be trying to do other people's push-ups for them or do other people's work or labor for them. And there's an energy with this Virgo lunar eclipse around, it stops now. Like, I'm not washing your nachos for you. I'm not taking your socks off the ground. Like, we have a certain system and you're not abiding by that. Like, that's work that you need to do to show up as a partner. And it's my work to advocate for that, I would say, with Venus already retrograde in Aries and Mercury as the younger sibling it is catching up. And so I know that I seem a little doom and gloom about this week's astrology. You can make this magical. Again, it is the end of a cycle. If you've been feeling burnt out and overworked and feeling personally burdened by other people's problems, there's an energy around this eclipse around recognizing I've been burdening myself with something that's not my responsibility. You know, people are on their own path with North Node Pisces. People have to do their own push-ups, and it's so hard, especially if you have children. I can imagine it's so hard to see them make mistakes or go through something hard without wanting to like swoop in and make it easier on them. But at the end of the day, we are all on our own path. And sometimes when we go above and beyond and we burden ourselves in order to help someone else out, sometimes we enable them. And I think with Sun Saturn in Pisces, it is this energy around laying down the law, but doing so with compassion. Because you can love someone and be compassionate for them while also understanding that me rushing in at your rescue actually is not helping you, it's enabling you. Like, you have to learn this. You have to work this muscle. You have to clean up the socks and the nachos. So we'll go ahead and take it into our day-by-day analysis so we can get to the nitty-gritty of all of these aspects and what you can expect each of these days. I want to let you know that all times that I mention are PDT. I'm located in California, which is currently Pacific Daylight Time. So make sure to adjust into your local time zone, as many of these astrological happenings will happen at a different time, or perhaps even on a different day based on where it is that you are located. I also want to let you know there's timestamps below. If you want to jump to a particular day, jump back to a particular day. You also have the option to fast forward me, to slow me down. If you click on the gear icon, playback speed, you have that capability. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into the astrology for Monday, March 10th. So on Monday, March 10th, I want to give you a reminder that even though the lunar eclipse doesn't land for a couple of days, we're feeling it. We are feeling it. It is building. I want you to look up at that full moon every night this week, and just as you see it get bigger and bigger, just imagine your emotions swelling along with them. And I don't mean to be a negative Nancy around it. As I noted earlier, I was kind of in a bad mood today. So maybe that's also painting my perspective over this astrology. Like maybe the lunar eclipse in Virgo opposing Saturn, maybe for you, that's actually a welcome recognition of what you're taking off your plate. Maybe that's like quitting a job that's been stressing you out, right? Recognizing this is not my responsibility. Like maybe it is joyous emotions that are surfacing in some regard. Just there is an energy where we're feeling things more intensely, and you know, with the moon in Leo all day long, more dramatically, right? We are the protagonist of our own show and the protagonist of our own show. And that's why I was also own show. And so that's why own show. So again, it's like, it might have just been not being able to merge, not being able to make veggie dip, but we are embellishing it and playing it up as though we are trying to win a Tony. Like that could be the vibe with the Leo mood. It also could be, you know, creative, feeling more prolific. You know, eclipse energy, it's electric. And electricity can shock you, of course, in not very pleasant ways, but it also can illuminate, right? So maybe there's even this energy with all this eclipse electricity in there. Maybe you're feeling it as creativity, right? There is a sense around eclipses of now or never, or like anything can happen. Sometimes we do crave change. We want to shake things up. We want to disrupt something. Sometimes we want to do something crazy. And so maybe with the Leo moon, you're getting inspired. You want to be creative. Maybe that's why the situation is bothering you to the degree that it is, because you're seeing this person, you know, have time to go to their pickleball league and things like that. And you're like, I want to do fun things. I don't want to shoulder this burden. It's not very fun. And you know, overall, the Leo moon wants to have some fun, especially on Monday. You know, the Leo moon did oppose Pluto late last night. So you could kind of feel some of that intensity, some of those extremes, particularly earlier on in the day. And then the Leo moon trines the building Mercury-Venus conjunction in the morning time. Between the hours of like 7 to 9:30 a.m. is when those trines are occurring, which could just be this energy around, I want to have some fun, right? I want to feel fired up. I want to feel passionate about something. Maybe you're writing something. Maybe you're creating something. Maybe you're getting ready in a way that's quite dramatic. Maybe you're getting ready in a way that's quite dramatic, like you are about to step out on stage. You know, even if you are not creative, you are still designing and turning your life into a work of art. And things could feel messy right now. You know, your house could feel messy, your mind could feel scattered, like things could just feel all over the place. But there could be this energy around, well, if things are going to be messy, I'm going to be a hot mess then. And it is powerful. Truly, truly getting ready in the morning is powerful. Even if you are not working right now, or even if you don't have anything to do today, it is very powerful at the beginning of the day to wake up, to wash your face, and to put yourself together in a way that says, I'm ready for the day, right? To unlock your inner lion, your inner lioness, and to actively step into that. You know, I am so grateful to have an alter ego. I think everybody should have an alter ego. I truly feel like that's a life hack. And it's like, Haley Comet is still me. My name is really Haley, but it kind of is this self that I get to embody. Conjure and create a version of you who feels confident and strong and ready, even if you don't feel that sort of way, right? Even if you feel nervous going to this job interview, going to this master's school interview, like creating the version of you who's not nervous. You know, for me, I call her Haley Comet. She's not nervous, and maybe you name yours. I would actually love to know, do you have an alter ego? Have you named your alter ego? I truly feel like it's such a life hack because it's not disingenuous. It's not like turning on a different personality. It's just the version of you who exemplifies the best qualities of you, and you can embody them. And it's magical too, because a lot of times the boundary between the two of you do fuse, and you kind of become more of that version of you. Like me as a person, I used to be very shy, but it's like the more that I conjured Haley Comet, the version of me who is confident, it's like the more that confidence permeated into my being, into other elements of myself. It kind of is the energy around fake it till you make it, right? You'll start to feel it. And maybe that shows up on Monday around getting ready, right? Asking yourself, what would my alter ego wear today? And how can I step into that, right? Step into my fierceness, step into my courage. You know, it's eclipse season, so things could be feeling intense, and inwardly you could be scared, but this Aries energy gives us courage codes, the ability to be fearless. And we're still in Pisces season, right? And Pisces is this shape-shifting energy. You can be whoever it is that you want to be, right? Pisces is that ability. So why not conjure the version of you who is the most fearless and is the most courageous? If you step into that and embody that and dress like that and talk like that, you will feel that. You will feel that courage, you will feel that fearlessness. And the Leo moon later on in the day sextiles Jupiter and Gemini. So maybe there is a certain way that you can grab hold of humor. You know, this is kind of court jester energy where maybe you're down bad, situations in your life are a little messy, but at least you can, you know, entertain the group chat, right? With your hurdles and your trials and your tribulations. Or maybe this is an energy where you're down bad, you're kind of going through it, or things are not going your way, but you can laugh at the absurdity of it, that the final straw for you was the veggie dip. Like, if you're able to reach for humor today, I would encourage that. And like I stated, it doesn't necessarily need to be a negative day. The lunar aspects are not negative within themselves. I just feel like the Leo moon is feeling big things, right? Dramatic things. So whatever it is that you're feeling, laugh at it if possible, or see what it is that you are learning from it, right? Within the bigger picture. Like I said, perspective is a muscle to work. We can validate the small stuff that's getting under our skin while still working the muscle around in the bigger scheme of things. It's all good. Like, truly, the veggie dip won't break me. This person not trying to let me merge won't break me. This butterfly pea tea, flower tea, why can't I say it at all? It won't break me, okay? And it won't break you either. We're not Humpty Dumpty. On Tuesday, March 11th at 3:55 p.m. PDT, Mercury and Venus align in Aries. And so Mercury and Venus are like two trains going in opposite directions but passing one another and saying, hey, right? And so Venus is on this retrograde journey, right? So Venus is already moving backwards. Mercury is soon to join, but Venus is already in this review. What do I value, right? What do I desire with Venus in Aries? Do I feel desired within my relationship? Do I feel valued? What do I value within relationship? What do I value within my bank account? How are my finances? Venus retrograde is taking this inward, introspective look at all of these topics. That's why the protagonist in this week's vibe check this is something that's been stewing, right? It's been something that's ongoing. And with Venus retrograde, it's like, no, I need to advocate about this, right? It's not just the nachos and the sock. This is a consistent problem. And I don't feel valued. I don't feel seen, right? And Aries is a sign of self. So I don't feel seen as the person that I am. Someone who also has a schedule and tasks and responsibilities and also is running late sometimes. And Mercury is still going forward. So it's like more likely to communicate out into the world, because just like a cheat code when it comes to direct and retrograde, direct is more active, direct is more external, direct is more future focused. Retrograde is more passive, retrograde is more internal, retrograde is more past focused. So with the two meeting, it's like this reflection on the love life is now being verbalized or expressed to someone else. Now, this is not the only way that this will show up. This could also be a DM from someone from your past, you know, someone reflecting on their past with you, and with Mercury reaching out to say, hey, how are you? How are things? Can we meet up? Can we grab a drink? Can we grab a sandwich? Like, this could be a time that you do hear from people from your past, colleagues from the past, coworkers from the past, exes from the past, friends from the past. There could be certain people who slide in your DMs or have something to say for themselves, right? They've been reflecting and now they're saying, they're speaking what they've been contemplating. And overall, I do feel like these conversations will be sweet, right? With the alignment with Venus, you know, Aries, there could be some poke and fun, right? Energy, but I feel like there are sweet words being expressed. Aries is ruled by Mars, a planet of conflict. Mars is in Cancer, the sign of the past. There could be frustrations that have been stewing, right? You might hear from someone from your past who actually has something that they want to fight with you about around, you know, I just think it's funny. You know, I've been reflecting and I let it go at that time being, but now I just think it's funny that A, B, and C. So I just needed to slide in my DMs and tell you that or something like that. And again, within your existing relationship, there could be something that someone's been reflecting on, potentially on the past. Typically Aries kind of just gets it out of the system and lets it go. But with it answering to Mars and Cancer, there could be something where it's like, no, this is simmering. This is a simmering, bubbling pot, and I need to verbalize this to you. Finances could also be something that you are reflecting about, thinking about. You know, with Venus retrograde, great time to really look at your finances, what's coming in, what's going out. And with Mercury, maybe having conversations around this. My encouragement, knowing that this is happening in Aries, would be not to do anything impulsively, not to panic, not to, you know, suddenly buy something or suddenly sell something out of, you know, fear or worry. We have a lot of that with this Virgo Lunar Eclipse building in the cosmos. Again, not a financial advisor, just here telling you the astrology. And with this being the moment that Mercury and Venus pass one another, this is like within my mind, the moment that Mercury is like, hey, wait for me, you know, typical little sibling energy. Seeing Venus retrograde and being like, I want to be retrograde. I want to be retrograde. Wait for me. Takes a couple of days for Mercury to station retrograde and catch up. But yeah, very little sibling energy, which I can say because I am a little sibling. Let me know if any of you are also little siblings. I wanted to do everything my sister and her friends were doing. I thought she was the coolest. I still think she's the coolest. I even tried to copy her birthday. Straight up, I tried to copy her birthday. My due date was sometime in Aquarius season. I was not meant to be a Pisces. I was meant to be an Aquarius, and I just stuck in there. And my sister's birthday is the day after mine. I was absurdly late for my due date. And because I was in there for too long, or because I was so overdue, there were some complications in relation to my birth. So my mom didn't get to go to my sister's 6th birthday party, which was the next day. Like, are you kidding? Like, I had to be like her so bad. I had to like copy her birthday. I was meant to be an Aquarius. I was not meant to be a Pisces, but I was like, wait, that looks fun being a Pisces. Wait for me. Wait for me. But anyways, just Mercury and Venus get together on Tuesday. It could be a great day to flirt, could be a great day to negotiate. Honestly, you could find that you are more persuasive in some regard. Could be a great day to rewrite your landing page or rework your landing page, rework the aesthetic of something. And so Tuesday's lunar story, the moon is in Leo all day long. It does go void at 1:16 p.m. PDT. And in case you're new here, when the moon is void, important tasks we must avoid. It does not mean that you need to put your life on hold. Again, that Mercury-Venus alignment happens a little before 4 p.m., which actually could be nice for meetings and conversations and all of that. But it just tends to be a time in which the soil is not the most fertile, so to speak, especially when we consider the closing aspect is the Leo moon squaring Uranus and Taurus. So this is amping up eclipse brain. eclipse brain is real this week. Eclipse brain means that our attention span could be frayed, our emotions could be heightened, we could just have this now or never sensation, feel a little bit more frantic, feel a little bit more scattered, especially with the moon squaring Uranus. We could just feel a little all over the place, a little erratic, a little strange. You know, building around a full moon, it tends to feel quite busy, and so you could just feel like there's so much going on that you don't even know what to give your energy towards, or you just feel a little bit more scattered or a little bit more frayed or something like that. Your emotions could also surprise you with moon squaring Uranus. And in the morning time, the Leo moon trines Chiron in Aries. So art of all kinds, whether it's creating or consuming, can be quite healing at this time. Just to be able to listen to a song that captures exactly how you're feeling in a particular situation, or to have a movie that has a character that so closely resembles you that you feel seen, can be quite healing in a world that can be cruel and messy and annoying a lot of times. Like, art and love really are what make life worth living. And this would be a great day. Great morning, honestly. Pisces sun, Leo moon, to divinate via music. That's like one of my favorite ways to divinate. I do it every single morning around what song is for my highest and best good today, and then hit shuffle on all your songs. And oftentimes you'll find that the song that picks you, there's messages within it or embedded within it, or as the day plays out. This would be a great day to do that, or just have those art forms that you escape into, get lost into. And it's funny looking at the overall lunar story, because moon trine Chiron, it's healing, right? It's acknowledging the pain while also processing it. And then the Leo moon squares Uranus. So again, our emotions could be all over the place, and we could be feeling a little bonkers because of that. Like, do you ever have a meltdown and then an hour later you're like giggling and kicking your feet and totally fine? Like, that's kind of Tuesday's energy, and you could be like, whoa, I am all over the place. My love, blame it on eclipse brain, okay? Blame it on eclipse brain. On Wednesday, March 12th, highlights of your day's astrology. Firstly, the moon enters Virgo, which is the sign of the lunar eclipse that exacts tomorrow night, early Friday morning in some places around the world. And we also have the Saturn Cazimi. Sun aligns with Saturn a little after 3 a.m. And of course, this is baked into the lunar eclipse. That's why life is feeling lifey, you know, and we have Saturn involved. It's heavy sometimes. It could be dense. It could be hard. It makes us deal with the reality, something that Pisces season very much abhors and detests, right? Pisces is the energy of fantasy and imagination, and there could be something that's kind of ripping us from our dreams, or making us feel very disillusioned or very even depressed around what is transpiring currently. You know, Saturn is sobering, it's hard. It's kind of the energy within the vibe check around laying out the ultimatum around, if this does not change, I cannot stay here. You know, Saturn is uncomfortable. It's ripping ourselves from this reverie that it's all good and we're going to be together and it's going to be great, because it's like, no, there's layers of what's transpiring that is not great. That's making me feel fundamentally unseen, undervalued, and I love you, but I have to love me also. You know, Venus retrograde in Aries, I went on a whole rant in that video, so I won't bore you with that here, but Venus retrograde in Aries is around you really realizing and recognizing how it is that you want to be loved. You know, Venus does not necessarily like to be in Aries because it is the sign of self, and Venus is around relationships, but your relationships need to honor you. They need to respect you. They need to see you. And with Sun Saturn, it's the hardest thing to do sometimes, but sometimes you do have to draw that line around what it is that you will not withstand. You know, the disrespect that you will not tolerate, because out of the deep reserves of love and respect that you have for yourself. You have to find that. You have to, at the end of the day, in any relationship, love the person, but you have to also love yourself. Venus retrograde in Aries is really this internal reflection on what it is that you want. What it is that you desire. Am I getting my needs met? Because you are a part of a relationship. And certainly relationships take work. They take compromise. They take not sweating the small stuff, right? But with Venus retrograde in Aries, it's recognizing, it's like, no, I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be valued. I deserve to feel desired, or whatever it is for you. And sometimes advocating for that does take disrupting the peace. It does mean sometimes bringing up a conversation that you know very well may start an argument, because it started an argument in the past. But with Venus retrograde in Aries, it's like, no, I'm someone who's worthy of fighting for. I deserve to fight for my needs and my time and my respect. Like I'm someone who's worthy of that. And with Sun Saturn, it's kind of that energy around having to lay down the line. You know, it's kind of that tough love energy around, I love you, but I also love me. Again, you can love someone so much while also still acknowledging I cannot put up with disrespect. I will not allow myself to be belittled. This is not okay with me. I love you, but I love me more. And sometimes you do have to make that difficult decision to choose yourself. And it can be so heartbreaking, right? But like I said, you can't do other people's push-ups for them. So if there's been a certain issue that you've been nagging and begging and pleading for someone to act right or show up differently, Sun Saturn is this energy around your actions have consequences. And sometimes we have to outline something clearly around this cycle needs to end or else our relationship will end. You know, they say in business that your leverage and your power is in your ability to walk away. Like if you go into any sort of business deal desperate and needing this deal to work out, you have given all of your leverage and your power away. And not to be jaded, but I would argue the same is true within relationships around if you do not feel like you can walk away at any given time, you are giving a lot of your power away. Like it's important. You can love someone so deeply, but you have to love yourself. And that means walking away or setting limits or setting boundaries. If you are disrespected, if you are belittled, you have to be able to walk away. By no means am I saying everybody needs to dispel an ultimatum this week. It just feels like with Sun Saturn, something is sharpening into focus. It feels a little unpleasant with the energy of Saturn. It could be where a boundary is necessary, where a line needs to be drawn in the sand, where you need to exert a little bit of tough love. Because Pisces, as a sign, it very much shapeshifts. It adapts. Woo! My celestite keeps falling. Isn't it beautiful though? It's so pretty. It's a crystal. Fun fact as I fix this. It's a crystal that's all around talking and communicating with angels. Those of you who keep up with Magic Monday know that I've been super into the angels lately. I've been working deeply with the angels, and Celestite just so appealed to me, and I got this beautiful piece on my birthday. Isn't she stunning? But she doesn't always like to stand up straight. Come on, queen. There she is. Okay, there she goes. Now we can communicate with the angels. But where was I? You know, Pisces as an energy, it can be very much shape-shifting. It can give, you know, chance after chance after chance. But you know, if you've dealt with Pisces or if you have Pisces placement, they will give chance after chance. But as soon as you have hit that last chance, it's done. It's done. They have like an unlimited, boundless amount of compassion and forgiveness until they don't. And I think Saturn and Pisces is a lot of Pisces placements learning their limits, you know? And I think with Sun Saturn, there is an energy where we've hit a limit with something. There's a boundary that's necessary. There's something that needs to be faced. There's hard work that needs to be done. There's some sort of habit, escapist habit that needs to be addressed. It's not pleasant. It's making us look at something that we would rather ignore. You know, Saturn is around time. So some other individuals could be looking at the nachos and the socks and really wondering, do I have a lifetime worth in me of half-eaten nacho plates on the couch and socks on the ground? Like, do I have that within me? Like some of us could be really thinking in terms of time and distance when we talk about Saturn energy. And I don't want anyone to feel like you have to make a decision right now. Again, I think a lot of us are having reflections, and I think the lunar eclipses bring a lot up to the surface. Sometimes eclipse energy makes us feel really intense, like we need to decide something right now. An encouragement that I would give you, especially with this particular cosmic alignment, if you are struggling to make a decision, I want you to literally, it's going to sound corny, but it works. I want you to write down option A on a piece of paper, put it on the ground, and I want you to write option B on a piece of paper and write it down, and write what you're actually trying to deliberate between. And what you're going to do is you're going to meditate, you're going to clear any preconceived notions around it, and you're going to go step on option A, and you're going to step into what that option would look like in about 5 years' time or so. And I don't want you to panic around, well, Haley, I don't know what it's going to look like. And that's where I get stuck in my head. No, I want you to just vibe it out. We're in Pisces season. Okay, we're all intuitive. Just feel into it. Just feel into it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What comes to you? Trust your intuition. Trust the psychic impressions that you receive at this time. And then I want you to dump that out, release that, send it back to the universe, thank you. And then step on option B and feel into, what does that look like in 5 years' time? Feel into that. Sometimes that can be really helpful to get out of our mind, because our mind is actually not that great around helping us to make a decision. It'll just point out the flaws or everything that could go wrong. And this is a strategy that helps us get into the emotion of what coats either of these options, or even like our intuition, what we receive around either of these options. And with Pisces Sun on Saturn, this could also be an energy around where it is that you need to step up, to level up, to make your dreams a reality in some regard. As I stated, the moon enters Virgo a little after midnight, which draws our awareness to health and work and responsibilities. And while there's a lot of little things that are being brought up at this time, it might not feel so little. Everything could feel a little bit more intense, right? We've got Saturn breathing down our neck, reminding us of consequences and time and responsibility and duty. We've got the full moon building, so emotionally we are responding to the person who won't let us merge, to the butterfly pea flower tea that won't be as impressive as we thought that it would, to the veggie dip that never was. Like, things could just feel fraught and more intense at this time. And it's going to be important, just with the earth moon, to just ground yourself down into your senses, take things one step at a time. On Thursday, March 13th, the lunar eclipse in Virgo exacts at 11:55 p.m. PDT. So for my portion of the world, we will have a Thursday lunar eclipse. For many portions of the world, you will have a Friday lunar eclipse. But regardless, we're all in this together with having an eclipse. And this eclipse is not particularly pleasant with the opposition to Saturn. I know I've been hammering that in, but it's also not about being hopeless or helpless. Okay, that's important to tune into. Because, things could feel stark and heavy with that Sun-Saturn alignment that's baked into this lunar eclipse, but it's recognizing you do have a role within your life. Like, yes, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is recognizing this is not my responsibility, this is not my job, right? Cleaning up after you or helping you with your problems or taking on your work, like, this is not my responsibility. But there are things that are my responsibility. And let's say this lunar eclipse just brings up a problem within your life, something that needs to be fixed, something that needs to be addressed, and it could be something that's very kind of mundane, very boring. You have to get a new water heater. You have to fix something on your car. It's like having to look at something that's like, gosh, life is so annoying. There's so much maintenance to it, right? That could be the Virgo lunar eclipse story for many. But it's like recognizing you are not helpless in the situation. That's important to drive home, because this lunar eclipse does sextile Mars. It does trine Uranus. So there is this energy around, yeah, there's something unpleasant, but there's something to be done. Right? Maybe we've been in that mode around just brushing it under the rug and just living in anguish that there's just always stuff all over the place, and that every time we go into the bathroom, there's socks on the ground, there's nachos. And if we're in this helpless mentality, it's like, this is just what my life is. And this is an eclipse that it's like, but what if it doesn't have to be this way? Like, what if I could communicate this? If I find this is important to me and this is something that I value, what if I didn't have to live this way? You didn't have to live this way. Like, remembering that you do have agency, not over everything. Eclipse season reminds us that. Life reminds us of that. And if we panic around everything that's not going according to plan, every inconvenience, we will ensure we have a very stressful time this eclipse season. But it's recognizing you do have control over some things. Like, again, some things are not your responsibility. Some things are your responsibility. Like, you do have a responsibility to speak up if something is consistently making you feel disrespected and not valued within your relationship. You do have a responsibility to set clear limits with a friend who you feel like has been taking advantage of you. You do have a responsibility to curate and cultivate more joy and love and compassion within your world, and recognizing where being too into other people's problems prohibits you from doing that. Like, you do have a responsibility in that. And so it just feels like there's an energy around, there's certain energies of your life around not my circus, not my monkeys, but also acknowledging this is my circus and these are my monkeys. Unfortunately, my water heater is my circus and my monkeys. My car is my circus and my monkeys. And again, if we're worried about our circus and monkeys and other people's circus and monkeys, we don't have enough energy to go around. And Saturn really reminds us the limits to everything, the limits to our love, the limits to our forgiveness, the limits of benefit of the doubt, right? But also like the limits of our time and our energy, and that we have a finite amount of time and energy. And if we run around trying to do it all and be it all for everyone else, we will be a frazzled, frantic, unhappy individual. And I think Saturn energy does nudge us to take some responsibility over our lives. You know, you can have a temper tantrum, you can have a pity party. At a certain point, you have to like look at yourself and be like, listen, no one's going to clean up this mess if you don't. No one's going to make your dreams come true if you don't. Feel your feelings, but then get up, like stand up. That's kind of the energy of this lunar eclipse. And on the hopeless piece, yes, this lunar eclipse, you know, can feel a little stark. It can feel a little hard. We're having to look at something that's not particularly pleasant. But the ask is to know that this too shall pass, firstly. Just know that. In the broader scheme of things, things are unfolding for you and not to you. I know it feels like that. It's going to be important to actively push against any sort of victim mentality or feeling sorry for yourself. There's a difference between validating your emotions versus feeling sorry for yourself and feeling like the world hates you because the butterfly tea flower. Why do I have such a hard time with that word? I cannot say that word, but you know what I mean. You know, the universe doesn't hate me. I know it can feel sometimes like the universe hates you when you're like, really, I had the day that I had and I couldn't make the veggie dip or things like that. But it's really working the muscle around pulling yourself up. Like, keep going. Things will make sense in time. There will be better days. There will be brighter days. Tune into what gives you a sense of hope and faith within the bigger picture. Obviously, for me, that's astrology. Talking about transits reminds us that every sky, every moment in time is a snapshot of time. And the planets are constantly moving. Things in our life are constantly moving. It will not always feel as it does right now. And tapping into that helps give me a sense of faith around things will make sense in time. Maybe for you, you know, working with the angels or having a relationship with God or making music, just whatever makes your life worth living is important to plug into, because there could just feel to be a lot of annoyances and inconveniences alive at this particular moment in time. And I do want to say this lunar eclipse, I have an all signs dedicated video on it that I would recommend you listen to, just because that gives more information around what it's lighting up within your chart. But some of us might have legitimate endings alive currently, things that are reaching a culmination, something that you are walking away from, something that you are releasing, something that might be releasing you. If something unfolds during an eclipse, there is significance to it. It may not make sense at this particular moment in time. Trust me, it's bigger than this particular moment. And it's a muscle to work of faith. It's a muscle to work of optimism. It's not something that's coming easily this week, but it is asking you to work that muscle of it. And so the full moon, the lunar eclipse, lands very late on Thursday. The moon's in Virgo all day long. So there is a need to ground yourself down in the present moment. Try not to get carried away. The Virgo moon squares Jupiter and Gemini, so your mind could be going 1,000,000 miles a minute. There could be a lot of worry in the air. You could be, you know, worrying over the outcome. Again, we do not have control over the future. Worrying is like investing your most precious resource, your energy, into a bank account that you will never be able to cash out and that you will never get back unless the worst case scenario happens, something catastrophic happens. It's like, it's just not wise usage of your energy. You just don't get a good return on investment there. And I know it's not a light switch. I know it's not easy, but there's an ask to be very present within this moment, trusting the next moment will arise as it's meant to. Really be mindful where it is that you're getting ahead of yourself, or where your worries are snowballing, or something's not going according to plan and you add on around and then this and then this and then this. There could be a tendency to do that. Bring yourself back. Breathe. And I know that when someone tells you to breathe, when you are freaking out about something, it could feel so passive aggressive and so infuriating. But truly the best thing that you could do when you are stressed is breathe. Like, your brain, your body so deeply needs that breath. Like, truly breathe. Take it one thing at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Again, you are not helpless. The Virgo moon sextiles Mars in Cancer. There are things to be done here. You know, don't give your power away. There are things to be done here. You are strong. You are powerful. Yeah, the situation in your life is tough, but so are you. Like, that's the vibe. And I want to let you know that the ruler of this eclipse does station retrograde tomorrow. And as a planet is kind of like hitting its brakes, so to speak, or stationing to start moving backwards, we feel it. And so there also could be technical difficulties that are making you want to tear your hair out, or misunderstandings, miscommunications. You know, it's going to be important not to be super hard on yourself or to be really critical of yourself. Could absolutely be an energy here. Making a work mistake and beating yourself up, rereading an email string and being like, they said it right there and I misunderstood what it is that they were saying. Like, I'm so dumb. Like, you could be incredibly hard on yourself. And it's going to be important to also work the muscle of compassion. Yes, with other people, because you don't know the eclipse story that they're going through, and people could be getting under your skin or being quite frustrating. But again, everybody's dealing with their own eclipse stuff. But also to yourself. Like, be compassionate and loving to yourself. This too is a muscle. Life is hard enough. You don't need to be this hard on yourself. On Friday, March 14th, so late tonight. So in many places and spaces around this big, beautiful world, this will happen Saturday. But late Friday, Pacific time zone speaking, Mercury will station retrograde. And Mercury, like Venus, will cover the territory Aries and Pisces. Now, this is much different. Firstly, it's much more common. Venus retrograde is the rarest planet to station retrograde. Mercury is the most frequent planet to station retrograde. So a Mercury retrograde is not going to destroy your life. It's not going to ruin anything. What it will do is bring some delays and some snafus that could be quite infuriating, honestly. And with Mercury in Aries, again, you could be beating yourself up. That's why I'm saying there's an energy this week where you could be being really hard on yourself, beating yourself up for a work mistake, beating yourself up that something is not going according to plan. Work the muscle of seeing yourself in the way that the divine does. Like, truly work that muscle with Saturn and Pisces. Work the muscle of perspective. You are not a horrible person because you made a work mistake. You are not a piece of trash just because you slept in this morning. Like, really, with Mercury retrograde in Aries, do not allow your mind to be a self-inflicted weapon on yourself, beating yourself up from the inside out. There could also be an energy around needing to go back to words that were said in moments of perhaps anger, or maybe said without thinking. Maybe you brought up this conversation with your partner around, hey, this is not okay with me. This is adding way too much to my plate. I am not cool with this. Maybe in the vibe check, you said certain things in the argument that you are not proud of. And with Mercury retrograde, there could be an energy around, hey, can we go back to when we were having that argument and you said this and this? Again, within any sort of relationship, it's never healthy to keep score. Like, we have to be mindful around, well, you said this one time, or you did this one time. Like, we never want to get into that energy around keeping score. But with Mercury retrograde in Aries, there could be certain words that were said, perhaps instinctively or reactively, that are being combed through or reviewed at this time around, hey, can we go in over what you meant when you said that I'm better at washing dishes than you are? Can we go back to when you said that? Because I'm curious what you meant by that. I'm curious what you meant by that. Like, with the Mercury retrograde in Aries, there could be words that were potentially shared, bluntly, honestly, that could be reviewed. Of course, this will also create kind of a contemplation within the territory of your chart that it's transiting through. For this, I would recommend listening to the Venus retrograde video. Even though we're talking about Venus, Mercury, like I said, is right on Venus's heels, basically, in terms of the portion of the sky that they're covering. So you'll get a really good look at what area of your life you are being asked to fine-tune, to look at, to review, to contemplate. And overall, with Mercury in Aries, I would just say strive not to be impulsive, especially with your language. If you have been impulsive with your language, it could be reviewed. If someone was impulsive with their language to you, that could be reviewed as well. And the eclipse story reverberates out. It's interesting, just with the ruler of the eclipse stationing retrograde shortly after. It basically stations at the point of where the eclipse lands, and then it retraces its steps. So there's more than meets the eye. There's more that is developing as it relates to this eclipse story. So hang tight around that. I also want to let you know at 2:16 a.m. on Friday, the Pisces Sun sextiles Uranus in Taurus, which does speak of possibility. Again, a sextile is a soft flow of energy. It's not a given, but there is an opportunity for these planets to work together. This is having a dream around, hey, what if we had a household in which it functioned like this, or I was treated like this, right? Uranus is the archetype of, the weirdo, of the eccentric, and they'll say you're crazy until you make something happen, right? So it's around, I have this dream that I can go to the bathroom without your sweaty gym socks on the ground, or what have you. Can we dare to dream together? Can we dare to innovate together? Something like this could be alive. Or at least if there is a problem, there's a water heater bill that's like, oh, there's a tax bill. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I looked at my accountant like, you're joking, right? But too bad, accountants don't joke. Accountants don't joke. No shade to any accountants out there. I'm sure you have a great sense of humor, but that's not the environment that they typically joke in. But I was like, please say JK. Like, please say JK right now. Say JK! Oh my God. There was no JK to be found within that room. He was serious. And it was just such an unpleasant recognition, which I feel that lunar eclipse for many of us is. Looking at the broken water heater, looking at the parts in our relationship that are not working, looking at our own bad habits and what we have to let go of, looking at a tax bill that looks terrifying and having to pay that. Not always pleasant, not always pleasant. And I was just driving home, just like so mad, just so mad. And this is not my first year being self-employed, but it was the scariest tax bill that I've ever received in my life. It was not pleasant to acknowledge, but I think the sextile to Uranus is the energy around, okay, how can I look at this from a different angle? Because I had my pity party driving back, and then I had to look at it in a different angle around, I guess that means I slayed last year. I guess I did really good last year if I got a tax bill that's scary. I guess I slayed, and now I have to pay. You got to pay to slay, I guess. And that was helpful to review it around, okay, listen, if I want to continue to grow, that means also having to get comfortable with more and more nauseating tax bills. Like, that is a frame of mind that I need to shift into, or I need to shift into this frame of mind around how am I going to solve the problem. I can feel bad for myself and the problem of it, but now we have to shift into how is it that we are going to move forward. Like, that is the acknowledgement here. And thank you for listening to me whine. I just want to say, do not read into what it is that I'm saying. I have a Gemini midheaven. Okay, I just use personal experiences from my life in order to tell a story, right? Or to make humor out of a situation that literally scared me so badly that I felt my soul leave my body. But I don't mean to have a pity party. I understand that this is a problem that so many people would be very grateful to have. Like, I know that the economy is the way that it is. The job market is the way that it is. I'm incredibly grateful to have a business. I'm not complaining. I love what it is that I do. And I think there's an energy around, you know, we could be annoyed that we need a new water heater while also being grateful that we have hot water, right? We could be annoyed that we don't have an ingredient to make veggie dip after a really bad day at work while also being grateful that we have food in our fridge. Oh, and so the sextile to Uranus could be finding that perspective, whether it's around gratitude, around I'm grateful to have a water heater, or having like a tough day at work and being like, I'm grateful to have a job, or what's a different perspective that I can apply to this situation, or what's a solution that we can find within our relationship? What's a future timeline that we can shift into? There could be something subtle flowing into your Friday around that. The moon's in Virgo in the beginning portion of the day, trining Uranus after midnight, and opposing Neptune before 11 a.m. So there could be an energy on Friday, yes, feeling that full moon hangover, right? Feeling for sure, especially with the opposition to Neptune. You could be feeling quite sleepy. You know, a lot of times Neptune aspects can make us feel that way, a little in your own world. I would just say, you know, Neptune could be dreaming about what we want, but it can also be dreaming about what we don't want, you know, visualizing worst case scenarios, or worrying about what it is that we can't control. You know, worry about your monkey and your circus, okay? Not your monkey, not your circus. Don't worry about other people's stuff if it's not your responsibility to do so. Let go of controlling the outcome or controlling other people's behavior or hypothesizing how certain situations will go. Ground into what is real and what is alive and what you need to do on this Friday morning. The moon enters Libra at 11:59 a.m., which draws our awareness to balance, to harmony, to compromise, to collaboration. The Libra moon does trine Pluto in Aquarius at 6:27 p.m., which does give this cosmic energy around the power that we find in numbers or in togetherness. You know, you might have had a bad week or maybe a bad day, but it could be so lovely to, you know, go out to dinner with a friend and have a bit around it, right? Inject some humor into it if you can, or be able to talk within a group of friends around something that you are moving through that maybe is a little bit more heavy, right? With the trine to Pluto. It's so powerful to remember where it is that we have togetherness and where it is that we are connected. Even if things feel intense and we feel all over the place, you know, when we're in good company, the problems of our life minimize in size, or they return back to their proper size, and we feel like we're more empowered to take on the problem. So my encouragement on Friday would be spend time with the people who bring you that sensation, or do whatever brings you back into balance, whatever helps you reclaim your power, right, with the trine to Pluto. You definitely connect, harmonize with others. Just do keep in mind, Mercury does station retrograde tonight, so there could be misunderstandings. Sometimes, and this might be because I am Mercury ruled, sometimes when Mercury is slowing down, I literally feel like my thoughts are slowing down. I feel like the words that I want are on the tip of my tongue and I'm not able to find them. So there might be some moments at happy hour at dinner that you are trying to describe something or you use a phrase wrong, something like this, just with the Mercury energy alive. So on Saturday, March 15th, the moon is still in Libra, opposing Mercury and Venus, who are now both retrograde, right? So they met up earlier this week and now they're both retrograde, opposing the Libra moon, which kind of is this energy around, war and peace. Really, if we think about the energy of Libra being ruled by Venus and Aries being ruled by Mars. And knowing that when it comes to connections, if you create peace out here, but not in here, that's not real peace. Like if there's something that's really bothering you, that's keeping you up at night, and you got to pick your stuff, right? You cannot die on every hill. You cannot make every issue an ultimatum type issue. Like you really have to figure out your deal breakers, but you got to stand on business when those are defined around this is something that I need within this relationship, because this is the energy around if we try to brush it under the rug and it's not that big a deal, like you are going to internalize it. You are going to feel resentment if this is something that's important to you. And it just feels like Saturday is this balancing act of that around, is this important to me or should I just let it go? Is it more important to keep the peace or should I bring this thing up that might create an argument, something like that. There could also be this battle around how you would want to spend your Saturday and maybe how someone near and dear to you wants to spend their Saturday. Maybe it's like helping a friend of yours with an errand, or maybe your partner wants to go through the garage and get rid of stuff. Like there could be an energy around, well, I wanted to spend my day doing this and you want to spend your day doing this. And really, any sort of relationship is a balancing act. The Libra moon then trines Jupiter that evening, which could be an energy of good feelings, good times. I mean, keep in mind, we're in eclipse season. Things can feel a little intense. People are divided with how they feel around eclipses. I typically strive to lie a little low around eclipses. I strive to lie a little low. Again, live your life. You will never catch me in the cosmic corner of the internet telling you to don't do this and do this. Like live your life. With Venus retrograde, I will encourage you not to do anything drastic as it relates to your hair, but it's your hair. Like it's your life. Do what you want, right? I do. Even as an astrologer, I do. Like I still live my life. Even if the astrology is challenging, like you gotta live your life, right? There's never gonna be a perfect time to do every little thing. But a lot of times I do like to kind of lie low around eclipses, but I would definitely say Libra moon trine Jupiter and Gemini could be a nice time to maybe socialize, just maybe like in a little bit more of a low-key way, or learn something, connect. There might be a little bit of hurt feelings as we move into the evening, maybe early Sunday, just because the Libra moon is building to square off with Mars. On Sunday, March 16th, you might wake up feeling some type of way. Okay, I need to be forthright with you that you might wake up feeling some type of way. The Libra moon squares Mars in Cancer, so feeling quite agitated and perhaps being uncertain of why. Mars is answering to the moon. The moon fluctuates, it oscillates, it can be a little moody, right? And with the energy of the Libra moon squaring Mars, you could be more crabby or just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and be uncertain of where this is coming from, which again is why it's important to check in with yourself and allow things to surface. Because if we're so busy going to the next thing and the next thing and we don't allow things to kind of surface, sometimes we deny ourselves the opportunity to see, like, what am I really upset about? What am I really frustrated about here? Because it's not about the socks on the ground. It's not about the half-eaten nachos. It is this larger issue of feeling unseen, or that your schedule and what you're rushing off into is more important than my schedule and what I'm rushing off into. And we don't get to that layer if we just brush off around, oh, I'm so moody, or it's not that big of a deal, or it's so small. Again, these are symptoms of something that could feel like there's a problem underneath. And with the energy of the Libra moon opposite Chiron, it could be something that makes us feel a little little wounded, a little insecure, a little inadequate, perhaps even. And that happens at 7 a.m. So sorry to end off our week on that note, but I would just say this weekend, do what brings you back into balance, okay? Do what brings you back into balance. If you've been spending a lot of time around people, if you had a busy work week, maybe spend some time alone. If you've been working a lot, see if you can rest. If you've been really sedentary, see where it is that you can move, like bring yourself back into balance. And again, balance the problem and what needs to be solved within your world with the Virgo Lunar Eclipse with the perspective, right? We're in Pisces season. In the bigger scheme of things, it's all good. Life goes on. So my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is everything is figure outable. I recently learned, Julie told me, who by the way got me this amazing Pisces sweatshirt. I saw on the tag, it's from Anthropology, in case any of you want to twin me and match me. It was so sweet. It's so comfy too. I love it. Anyways, Julie got me this. And Julie also told me that Everything's Figure Outable is a book. I've never read that book. I need to be so forthright. I just heard this phrase one day and it really stuck with me, and I feel like it's really important this week. Everything is figure outable. You know, it's important if there's a situation within your relationship, like within the vibe check, you know, every problem is figure outable. It's not you versus your partner, it's the two of you versus the problem. Or if there's a water heater situation, if your accountant shows you a number that makes you want to melt into a puddle, everything is figure outable. Everything is figure outable. You know, there could be certain annoyances, inconveniences. Maybe some of you are dealing with much bigger problems. Everything is figure outable. The situation does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. Your insecurities do not define you. There feels to be an energy with this Virgo Lunar Eclipse. We're feeling a little neurotic and critical. You will get past this. You will figure this out. And I love this phrase because when we allow ourselves to step in this reality, everything is figure outable. We will figure this out. We will get past this. You also conjure and create a version of yourself who will figure it out, because it's easy, especially with Pisces season, to pity party ourselves and to feel, I can't handle this world with its water heaters and its taxes and people who won't let me merge. And, you know, we can kind of have a pity party with ourselves and not feel strong or capable or competent enough to meet the challenges of our life. But it's like, no, I'll figure this out. Everything is figure outable, and I'm someone who can figure this out. You know, step into your strength is also an energy with Sun, Saturn. You know, feel your feelings, certainly, but after those tears fall and you have the pity party and you have a temper tantrum, get up, right? Your life needs you, your higher self needs you, this problem needs you, and you are stronger than you realize. You're more courageous than you realize, you're more fearless than you realize with this Aries energy. Everything is figure it outable, and you, my love, as the main character of your story, are going to figure it out. So that is our week. If you made it to the end of the forecast, go ahead and drop below the circus emoji to shout out the not my circus, not my monkeys saying that might be quite impactful and quite important this week. Just really defining what is your responsibility versus what is not your problem. Okay, it's going to be important this week. And if you don't have emojis or you just like to play the word game, use the word circus within a sentence to let me know that you made it to the end. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCommentAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. I swear my beverage was actually good. I don't mind the taste of it, but as you see, I think just the disappointment of how lame that color change was just made me uninterested in the beverage altogether. But genuinely, thank you all so much. I know you're not here in the room with me, but I cannot tell you what a better mood I am in after chatting with you guys than before. Like, I'm telling you, I had the most rancid aura, and it's not even anything big. It's just the small things, which is like so Virgo Lunar Eclipse. But I just want to thank you all for being here. I always have so much fun within the cosmic corner of the internet. That's why when I get comments of people who say they love Magic Monday, I'm like, I do too. Like, I swear, something about filming Magic Monday is so medicinal for me. It just makes me feel so much better. I just have so much fun when I sit down and talk about the cosmos with you all. So thank you for listening, and thank you for cheering me up. Genuinely, this cheered me up so much. But until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.